This is in no way, shape or form a sponsored video, and that's because I came back from Perth with a cold. Hey team, welcome to today's video and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Hayden. And yes, I do sound like I have been smoking hundreds of cigarettes, and that's because I came back from Perth with a cold. So excuse me if I sound like there's a bag of cement and everything else jammed up in my nostrils. I do hope that you enjoyed last week's video, part 2 of our Singapore trip. There will be a part 3 to wrap it up, coming up at some point soon. But that is not why we're here today. Today we're diving back into the world of men's affordable fashion, which is something we like to dabble with here on my channel. This particular brand I have not worked with before. I have not tried out their stuff before. I paid for everything out of my own money. This is in no way, shape or form a sponsored video. It is all based on my thoughts, my opinions, and my first impressions with the items that we're going to look at today. We are looking at a brand that popped up on my Instagram feed. It was an advert, as it usually is when you're doing the scroll, and it was INCERUNMEN. Now, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I'm pretty certain it's accurate, but if I am, let me know. I've never heard of them before. What caught my eye was the design of one of the shirts that was on the advert, and I thought that's a little interesting. So I moseyed on over to their website, had a little bit of a look-see, and this is where we landed. There are 4 items that we are going to be looking at from INCERUNMEN. And I am a little concerned because I do have the bag here. It did arrive, say about 4 days ago. And I have opened it up to have a peek because the 4 items we're looking at are in this bag. And if what we are looking at is in here, then it's not a good sign if it's all fits in here. That being said, the items we are looking at today from INCERUNMEN are, I stand corrected, I've just had a look back on my notes on my phone and the website to have a look at my history of my order. I actually removed one of the items. So there's only 3 items that we're looking at today. I stand corrected. And those 3 items are the men's solid textured casual short sleeve t-shirt in black, which was $17.69 Australian dollars, and I will always do the conversion. The men's solid V-neck short sleeve t-shirt in the color black, size medium. Both of them are in medium. And that was $11.77 Australian dollars. And then finally, which is what I feel like the package should be bigger than what it is the men's long sleeve solid jacket, color black, size medium, $29.99 Australian dollars. Now, I don't want to cast aspersions because we haven't actually had a look at it yet, but I don't think it's going to bode well. But I have been proven wrong before. As I said before, I did open it up to have a peek to make sure that this was what I was expecting. I can already see the buttons from the jacket, and it's extremely thin. First item we will look at today is the men's solid textured casual short sleeve t-shirt, $17.69. We have the standard Ziploc pouch. It's got the branding. I mean, it doesn't feel terrible. It feels soft. It doesn't stink, which is also a bonus. It's kind of interesting fabric. It's ridged. This is what it looks like out of the packaging. I already know this is going to be small, and this is a medium. So you can see, not only is it going to be small, so width, but it's also going to be too short, I feel. Now, there's not a lot to it. It's pretty straightforward. I'll see if you can actually see the fabric. You can see there it's kind of ridged. You can see the bumps up here. We'll check out our construction before we put it on. It actually doesn't look too bad as he struggles to breathe. Pretty certain you can see this. On my viewfinder, I can't really pick it up, but when I'm editing, I'm 100% certain that you will see it. But you can see a T section there. There is absolutely nothing that is alarming, even when we do this. We pull on it, there is a bit of give. You can see that's a bit of elasticity in the fabric itself, and I will have a look at what it's made from very soon. All along the neckline, I don't see any threads sticking out. I don't see anything that could potentially be alarm bells that it's going to unravel anytime soon. We'll take a quick look at what it's made from before we put it on. It is 95% polyester and 5% spandex. Okay, well, no time like the present. Let's try this on. We have our first casualty. We're not off to a good start. I couldn't even get this over my head. I had an arm in each, and then when I tried to pull this over my head and across my shoulders, it would not budge. It would not happen. So I couldn't actually put it on. I am slightly concerned for the rest of this video if I can't even put the first item on, and that's a size medium. I've never had issues before. There's been some hit and misses with sizing. These garments are made in China, but so are items like Temu, Wish, Shein. I haven't had major issues with them not actually fitting over my head before. So fingers crossed, we can actually get something on our bodies today. Let's go to the next one. We may as well continue with the shirts. Now, I am hoping and praying we're going to be able to put this one on. This one is the men's solid V-neck short sleeve t-shirt. Now, I do think that the other one, because it was a high collar and it had that kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a reverend type thing, and it's already had a preset circumference around the neck, whereas the other one's a V-neck, so it's a bit more open. Same deal, I already can tell this is really flimsy fabric. Absolutely no scent. There's a A+ from me. Holy crap, this is very see-through. This is definitely not something, you can clearly see me through there. Not something that you could wear by itself. Maybe down at the beach, going to the pool, anything like that. But by itself, maybe a little indecent. And I'm a little concerned because the picture does not say, or it doesn't lead you to believe that it's going to be transparent. You can clearly see me directly through that. But we shall continue on. We'll check out our construction. Now, there really isn't much to this at all. You can actually see the construction from the other side of the garment, but we'll bring it on in as we always do. T-section. The neckline, there's really not much to it. It is just a hem and a stitch. And as we do this, nothing separates. You see another T-section down the bottom where the sleeves meet. There's nothing sticking out. I don't see any frays or tears around the stitching. This is made from, I'm going to say the same as the other one. No, I'm incorrect. 100% polyester. All right. Well, there's a lot more space to this one. You can see it is bigger than the previous one and they're both mediums. Let's try it on. You know, now that I've got it on, I really like how this feels on your skin. I like the cut. I like how flattering it is and how low the neckline is. And even though it was very transparent when I was holding it up in front of the camera, I feel like, and there is a window directly behind the mirror, you can see here, and it goes outside. I'm looking directly at the mirror with the light from the window streaming in, and I don't believe you can see my nipples. I mean, you can up close. You can clearly see it on my pec there. But that's okay. But when I flip you around, you'll see what I mean. I really like how the waist is cinched in. It is rather flattering. And you see what I mean? You don't actually see, even when super up close and the light is coming in from the window, I don't think you can see my nipples. I really like how comfortable this is. There's a lot of range, a lot of movement. I like that it's kind of slouchy. I am a fan of this one. I liked it so much that I am continuing to wear it. That leaves the jacket, which is what I'm most concerned about. Because the jacket is this. I mean, for 30 bucks, what do you really expect? This one feels a little rough. It's very kind of scratchy material. Here we have it. Again, no odor. I'm happy about that. This is also very see-through. Here we have the jacket out of its packaging. The buttons are plastic, they aren't metal. They're not real pockets, it's just a flap sewn on, same as the one down the bottom. We'll undo the buttons and we'll open it up and have a look before we go try it on, and then obviously look at our construction. You can clearly see right through that. But then you could do the same with this. It is on the sheer side, you can see my nipple right there. But I actually really like this shirt on. Maybe this will be the same deal. We'll have a look at our construction before we put it on and we'll see what it's made from. I'm going to say it's made from polyester, but I don't know that for certain. There's a bit more to this one than what I'm wearing. The hems themselves, or the seams, are quite large. You can see that's like a fin. But even though they are on the bigger side, I don't see any messy craftsmanship. You see that T-section right here where the front and the back panel meets the shoulder. We don't see any, I mean, there's some loose threads here, but that's just fabric that hasn't been trimmed off. But I don't see any threads that are falling out. Even when you pull on the seam, there is actually, you can see some of the fabric separating in here. Checking down the back seam where the two back panels meet in the middle of your back, it's actually a really neat stitch. All the way down you can see here, there is nothing sticking up, no frays, no pulls, no bunching. And this is 100% polyester. Let's go try this on. Okay, so I've got the jacket on and I'm going to say I'm not a fan. And that's because we have a similar sizing issue to the shirt, the first shirt. It fits my body. It's got a good length in the arm and the torso, but around the width of my shoulders, I can't actually lift my arm. So this is as far as it goes without, you can see where it starts pulling under here and it gets super tight under the armpit. And it just doesn't feel comfortable on the skin, the actual fabric itself. Even though it's 100% polyester, same as the shirt just feels like it's so much silkier against the skin, whereas this is quite rough and kind of itchy. Here we have the jacket. I mean, from afar, you're like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. You can see the length on the arm and the torso length is actually pretty good, but it doesn't actually go any higher than that without it catching under the armpit like I showed you before. Since being here on YouTube and doing a lot of men's affordable fashion, it's been a while since a video or a haul hasn't been successful. Now, I know that's not entirely fair because I really like this shirt and I will be wearing this shirt. Regardless of how sheer it is, I actually don't mind that because it's not in your face, in my opinion at least. But the other two items, they weren't super expensive, which is the whole point. The jacket, I don't believe is worth the money. And the shirt, I can't actually give an honest opinion because I couldn't put it on. However, the sizing was a little iffy. I will link everything down below if you want to check out the company, the clothing for yourself. Please do let me know your experience. Thanks for watching, team. Make sure we do all the fun stuff, but most importantly, stay tuned.